Back in 1985, before Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, he stepped into the ring with a man who had been linked to drug trafficking. He had served time in prison and was considered one of the most dangerous figures in heavyweight boxing. Atlantic City, October 9, 1985. Under the bright lights of the Trump Casino Hotel, the legendary ring announcer, Michael Buffer, announced a name that was quickly becoming the most feared in boxing. After turning professional earlier that year, at just 19 years old, Tyson was not yet a world champion, but he was already the most talked about prospect in boxing. But that night, standing in front of him was not an amateur, but a man with one of the best nicknames in boxing. The 28-year-old heavyweight from Ohio came into the fight with a record of 15 wins and only 3 losses. Unlike most of Tyson's early opponents, Long had already faced some experienced heavyweights in the ring. After defeating the veteran John Dino Dennis, he went the distance against the tough James Broad, and even faced the former WBA heavyweight champion, John Tate. Long seemed like the toughest test Tyson had faced up to that point. But his reputation extended far beyond the ring. He had a turbulent past that included time in prison, accusations of drug trafficking, and years on the run from law enforcement. Donnie Long was known as a dangerous man both inside and outside the ring. And unlike many boxers who faced Tyson in those days, he believed he could beat him. Long was not intimidated by Tyson's growing reputation. He actually thought he already knew how to beat him. During the promotion of the fight, he mentioned a familiar name: Henry Tillman. The same Henry Tillman who had defeated Tyson twice in the amateur ranks, before winning Olympic gold in Los Angeles. For the teenager, it was as if his dream of an Olympic gold medal had been snatched from his hands. So, mentioning Tillman's name before the fight was a mistake that the bad boy from Ohio would end up regretting. And so, October 9, 1985, both fighters finally faced each other in Atlantic City. Although it was originally scheduled for 8 rounds, the fight was shortened to 6 due to television time constraints. But even that time was more than enough for Tyson. As soon as the opening bell rang, Tyson lunged forward with his characteristic D'Amato style, moving his head and body from side to side, not giving his opponent a moment to breathe. Long tried to stick to the plan, to circle around, stay away from the ropes, and keep Tyson in the center of the ring, just as he had promised. Before the fight, but with Iron Mike, it only takes one punch to ruin even the most disciplined plan. Less than a minute into the fight, Tyson landed a devastating left hook to Long's chin, sending him to the canvas for the first time. Long struggled to get up, as his body still wanted to keep fighting. But his nervous system had already given up, which led to a second knockdown. Sensing that weakness, Tyson finished him off with a devastating combination and everything ended at the 88th second of the first round. The man who had been described as the toughest test Tyson had faced up to that point barely lasted 90 seconds against the teenage prodigy. A performance that even surprised the renowned commentator Al Bernstein, who described it as the worst performance he had ever seen from Donnie Long. But he quickly added that the credit belonged to Tyson, because Tyson didn't just defeat Donnie Long, he sent a message to the entire division. The most terrifying thing wasn't the knockout, because in an interview with Al Bernstein after the fight, Tyson explained that he wanted to put on a show for the other heavyweights who had come to watch him live in Atlantic City. On June 16, 1995, years after his fight against Donnie Long, and just a few months after losing his heavyweight title to Buster Douglas, Tyson finally had his chance to get revenge on the man whose name Donnie Long had mentioned before their fight. Henry Tillman, the 19, weight 84 Olympic champion who had defeated Mike Tyson twice in the amateur ranks. If there was any consolation for Long that night, it was that he didn't last much longer. Let them film. Opponents. Tyson, closing the distance from the very first seconds of the fight, made it clear that he had no intention of dragging this conversation out to the later rounds. Well, Tillman tried to avoid getting into an exchange of blows, but in fights like this, just one mistake is enough to leave you with no time to escape. When that moment came, Tyson finished the job with a knockout in the first round. This victory didn't erase the loss to Douglas. Defeats like that don't disappear after just one brilliant night, but the fight against Tillman served as a reminder that, even after the most resounding fall, Mike Tyson was still one of the greatest. At just 19 years old, Mike Tyson wasn't yet a world champion, but nights like this made it clear that the heavyweight division was about to change forever. And the most terrifying thing was, Tyson was only just getting started.